when Heath passed away, it was such a shock to us. I mean, we couldn't believe that we were talking to him the night before, and Kate was telling him not to mix sleeping tablets with what he was taking for his chest cold, and then 8 hours later he's not here. He was filming Parnassus, the last film that he participated in, and so he was travelling a bit between Canada and England and New York back to see Matilda. Had a very busy schedule. He also had a chest cold which had become, as we know now, pneumonia. Got some medication in the UK. He then saw a doctor in New York. He got medication in New York, and then a lot of these medications, if issued up correctly, and I'm sure they were for what Heath was feeling, have different names, and they might also, be different drugs. I don't know, but often have different names. So he wouldn't have really known what he was taking. He did have these prescription meds on him. He was tired. He couldn't sleep, and he took these meds and took a sleeping tablet on top of that to try and get a few hours sleep, because he had a meeting with Steve Spielberg the next morning at 10 o'clock. We knew that he'd taken the meds because Kate was telling him the night before, you can't take sleeping tablets on top of a prescription medication. Katie, it'll be fine, that's... And she said, you don't know what you're doing. And they were kind of the last words that really, went between Kate and Heath, and our last time we spoke with him. The next day, I get a call from my business partner in Adelaide. It's early in the morning for me, a little later for him because of the time zones. And I get a call, and Simon says, you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm okay, why? And he said, you sure you're okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine, He'd been up earlier and seen it on the news, and it was 7 o'clock over our way, and we'd only just got out of bed, when he called. It wasn't until we then woke up, a few minutes later, Kate's calling me on the telephone, screaming on the phone at me, screaming, Dad, Dad, and she was just completely, Kate and Heath were very, very close, and she was just beside herself, I kind of going, what's going on, what are you talking about, and then she said, have you seen the TV news? And then I flick on the TV news, and then I see, his body coming out on a stretcher, out of the back of, or going into the back of a paramedic vehicle. Why it's important for us to talk about what transpired for us is because it was a shock. We had no idea what prescription medications could do, or the mixture of them, or the misuse of them. And I think really that's what we're trying to do, what I'm trying to do now, is to say to people, look, it doesn't matter who you are, or where you are, or what you're doing, if you don't get on top of what you are taking, or understand what you're meant to be taking, how you're meant to be taking it, then you too can have an accident. Scriptwise started in 2014. They approached me and said, look, we need to raise the profile of this potential organisation. Would you, join us? I kind of felt a little, responsibility there to maybe share, given Heath's profile, that perhaps we should share our own experiences to highlight, the dangers surrounding prescription medications. People that are addicted to opioids almost, and the tragedy that they can suffer is almost running at a higher level across Australia than illegal substances. I think people perceive that a prescription drug is probably okay because a doctor is prescribing it, and by law you can actually acquire that drug. So there's a false sense of security there in the back of their heads. My personal message would be, look, reach out. Okay, there's reach out to a wider range of friends. Don't be embarrassed by the situation. It's not a situation to be that you put into a cupboard and forget. You know, own up to it. If you're an individual that is caught, own up to the fact that you are caught. Don't leave people alone when they're in this situation. You know, you need to still love them. It doesn't matter. People still need to be loved, regardless of what their own personal situations are. And certainly the people that are using and are suffering the consequences of addiction, if for no other reason other than to wake them up. You know, I wasn't there to wake him up.